This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Simlaw, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. We are live. We are
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. This is Alan Autry, and can you bring my volume up in there? I can't hear myself. Give me up a little bit more there. I'm used to having it. Oh, yeah. There I am.
Yeah, there you go. Got
Yeah,
Goldilocks.
that's about as much as me as I can take. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Big Wednesday. It's coming to you from the heart of California. Don't believe, folks out there, that all there is to California is Northern and Southern California, San Francisco and Los Angeles, often fondly referred to as Sodom and Gomorrah in the Midwest.
Are they worse than Vegas now?
Huh?
They worse than Vegas now?
Well, whatever difference here in San Joaquin Valley, which I was getting to.
Oh, my man.
There's a whole, well, no, there's a whole different, they call it the other California.
Yeah, that'd be us.
But Fresno, different from Vegas. You know, Vegas, what's done in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Not anymore, not with social media.
Well, Fresno is what's done here in the morning, everybody knows by noon.
No kidding.
So it is a big little town. And if you've grown up in a little town, a lot of little folks from little towns listen to the show. Appreciate y'all.
Love you.
Here. Tranquility. You know this signal goes out to Tranquility.
Yeah, we
San
go
Joaquin.
our west. Yeah, I went out there in Biola, the thriving metropolis of Biola.
I love Biola. Then you got a place called Helm, California. I think we've got a couple of listeners.
Helm,
out there.
really?
Yes.
Where's Helm?
Yeah, hey, go to Helm and find out. Just go straight to Helm.
I've been told to go
Do
somewhere
not
else.
pass go. Go straight to Helm. I love Helm. It's a great little town. Anyway, welcome to the.
I have an announcement. Sorry, go and welcome everybody, and then I can get to my announcement.
Well, you showed me that big crater on your eye. The guy has never heard of a sty. Oh, can you believe this? These young little millennials, they've never had. He's perfect looking, perfect skin, perfect hair. Gets this little blemish. He goes, "Hey, Alan, what's this on my eye?" I thought it's a sty. He goes, "What's that?"
I thought it was like a splinter in your eye.
Well, no, that's. I would bet if I was a betting man that's a sty.
Yeah, it's itchy
but
though.
Don't
and
touch
it's
me, like
flaky.
I told you. They're really contagious.
So don't rub my eye on the mic.
Well, you can do whatever you want to. Just don't touch me after you do it.
All right,
that's fine. You can touch Jeremy, whatever.
Hey, well, that's not my
don't
announcement.
Touch me. I'm at the age I don't want anything else. I don't want a sty. I don't want a rash.
Yeah, okay.
I get a rash. I turn into like Archie Bunker. You just get a little hangnail. Oh, ain't that thing? Ain't that? I just a little stub, a little toe. I can run into Kim.
Hey, you know what?
Hey,
I just touched you. I apologize.
That really hurt.
6 feet.
Okay.
Social distancing.
Go ahead. You were going to say something. What?
So on top
First of all, Larry Powell is not with us today. We miss Larry. He had something very important he had to do, and hopefully, God willing, we'll have Larry back in the saddle again on Wednesday.
Yeah, I love Larry.
But go ahead, little grasshopper. Tell me what you want.
Before I get to my sty, I had a stomachache at about midnight last night, and I was scrolling through the news, and this popped up in my feed. The most unreasonable requests that actors make on set. Unreasonable and expensive. And Celine Dion has to have like 75 rooms.
She's not an actress.
She's a singer. Okay. And which one was one? A J-Lo requires her coffee to be turned counterclockwise. Mm-hmm. And that's like $5,000 to have the assistant do that. Did you ever have any quirks where, and this is true, right? They make demands. That's part of it, where I have to have, Will Smith has to have a double-decker trailer. George Clooney has to have something like next to his trailer. Is that true?
I don't know. All I require is to have toilet paper in my honey wagon, and if there's a rat in there, make sure he's well fed and doesn't run around while I'm in there.
We can't even get you water in the studio. I think you need to renegotiate. You have a union here at the studio?
What's that?
On-air talent union?
Well, I'm on strike on one union now. Might as well strike here. KXEX unfair. All the fat cats at KXEX, they're taking all the corporate profits. There's nothing left for Jeremy, me, and the constitutionalists. Eric Rollins, look at him. He's wasting away to nothing because of you, corporate
all right,
green
fine.
man.
I'll get water and double ply toilet paper.
Guillermo and I can go out there and pick it. Does it seem like everybody's striking now?
Yeah.
Actors
Kaiser.
strike, writers strike,
medical
auto workers strike.
striking.
Why do you think they're doing that?
Can I be honest?
No. Why do you want to break precedent now? No, keep lying. How long have you been doing that? I wouldn't know what to do if you told the truth.
I think they're lazy.
Huh?
Lazy.
Well,
I think
you name me one person. Now listen, okay, you're talking about a virtue to work as hard as I can, and I'm not going to take a handout from anybody. And I was raised, that sounds good. But deep inside everyone, isn't there that little voice that says, try to do as least as possible for the most money you can get? Now, come on. Deep inside, let me do as little as I can and get as much as I can for what little I do. I know that ruins your soul. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well,
but you're out there, and I think
it's lazy.
I just think they got an administration now. They're saying, if not now, when? They're throwing around money left and right. These corporate profits are up because, but here's the cautionary tape on that in terms of the UAW. Okay, go ahead. Finish
stop right there. Corporate profit. See, the problem with
what did you tell me to do?
With you.
Did you tell me to stop right there?
No, yeah, stop right there.
Wait, I'm your elder. Just say, please, Pops, can I get a word in? Something like that. Yes. Go ahead, son.
Can I speak?
Yes.
All right. That's much better. I think we should do that.
Well, yes, I'm your elder.
Put that in the new contract.
Your next word. Hey, hold it. Next thing you'll be, hey, shut up, old man. That's how I do it.
That's very true. I'll never do that.
I'd be on my
I can't
phone.
touch you right now.
Excuse me. I got to call Mr. Bernstein. Over at KXEX, does verbal microaggressions count as age discrimination?
I said nothing about your age.
All right, get your thought out because you can't wait, and you probably already.
I don't even remember what it.
Well, it's got to be brilliant because you stopped me twice, told me to shut up.
So you said
you
corporate,
can get it out.
Corporate profits. I didn't say shut. I said stop.
Okay.
So you said corporate profits. That's the problem with a lot of the employees that are going on strike is they're looking at the bottom line and they're saying, wait a minute, no, that's not right. Why is the company making that much money and I'm not making enough? What unfortunately, at a lot of entry level posts and even higher at managerial posts, they don't understand what it takes to run and sustain a large company. So yeah, you're seeing the company rank in a lot of money, but you have to think about, hey, what about future growth? What about innovation? That's not money that all the fat cats are running away with. Now, granted, they're running away with a lot of money, but let's just be real. Don't be looking at the bottom line and saying, wait a minute, I want some more of that cut. Because the reality is in business, if you get more, they don't get less. The consumer has to pay more. Mm-hmm. So I think it's this post-COVID, I think changed the world now. I think a lot of people are really entitled and they're saying, well, you know what? Screw this. I'll just try it. I'll come a 4-day work week for the auto workers and a 40% raise. Mm-hmm. That's they're going too far.
Well, yeah, but it depends on how you look at it, the perspective. If you're living in the real world. And the real world in terms of auto manufacturing is, if you're a worker, assembly line, the future's bleak. And I think there is a attitude that nobody wants to talk about out loud, is that, hey, fellas, gals, fellow workers, let's get everything we can right now because it ain't going to be around very long. To a worker, and I don't think it's an inaccurate translation, when they hear, well, we got to invest in innovation in our cars to compete, that means we're developing AI to take your job. And that if you're working on an assembly line, you are toast in the world of AI. If AI is not, that's what we're doing with the actor strike. We see it. I mean, you just showed me yesterday
Yeah,
or the day
yeah,
before,
with the fan.
in the stands where they have these robots that look totally, completely human. I look more human than me. Now that's a setup for a lot of jokes that don't like people that don't like me and hate me.
Sir.
Yeah, I knew you're the devil. You're not human. You raised my sewer connection fees. But I do think that figures in. Let's go for what we can get now as much as we can while the government is subsidizing these car companies. Because you hear about all these electric vehicles being sold, and they just came out with an article, I believe it's the Washington Post. You can't take a lot of that to the bank, but this is you get insight into their mindset. They meaning the far left, the Democrats, reading those kind of publications. They said we're at the tipping point. Between 5 and 10% of the people right now own electric vehicles. So when you get to that point, then it's going to be eventually the vast majority of people will have electric cars within 10, 15 years. That's their extrapolation of the data. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but they seem to be very secure in that. So what they're basing these contracts on is that the government seems determined to give the car companies whatever they need for as long as it takes, sound familiar, to borrow from the Ukraine deal, to fund this new Green Deal and get everybody an electric car, even if they have to subsidize it, which means these car companies, they're not making money on these electric vehicles. If the government was involved giving them billions and billions of dollars, that's what the Inflation Reduction Act was all about, was things like that hidden in that bill to give these car companies the infrastructure bill as well. Massive subsidies. And what happens when you have a corporate head retire and get a $25 million golden parachute? The union's going to say, hey, we want to bite of that government apple too. So I think there's that at play. To be honest, I think it's a fatalistic type attitude, but I don't really blame them. I mean, if they don't get a handle on artificial intelligence, just think about it. I mean, that's the low hanging fruit,
sir,
for AIs. I like that. Yes,
sir.
Yes. The chair recognizes the co-host, Mr. Moreno, for input.
The reality is this: machines.
Your time is up, sir. Now, as I was saying,
in the new studio, you're going to have a mute button. You can mute me.
Oh, I'm going to have fun.
You're going to have a lot of fun with that.
We're going to have all the old bells and whistles.
And so is Jeremy. He's going to be able to mute both of us, and we can add a lot.
He's going to have the real power.
So, yeah, the reality is this: machines have been helping the car making process already. Like, what more AI is going to come in and take more of the jobs? We're already in an automated kind of factory. And I mean, I'm basing this on just hearsay. I haven't been on an assembly line. I wasn't in Detroit or on the Tesla line. But here's the other thing. I think we're missing the forest from the trees. They want to kill the car. Let's just be real. Right now, they're getting on the side of the auto worker. You got Bernie Sanders going out there saying, "Oh, this is great." The reality is this: they want to kill the car. That's why they want to put everybody on electric, knowing that we don't have the infrastructure to charge America's cars. We just don't have it. They want to transition us from electric to public transportation. That's the goal. You see this in California, right? You see it right here in the Central Valley with high-speed rail. They want to kill the car, and they want to make us more like where? Where have they killed the car? In Europe. They want to make the United States like Europe. They don't want, and you can say it's climate change. You could say whatever. I think it's something bigger at play, because if you have individuals less reliant on the car, you have more densely populated areas. You don't have a lot of rural. You start to impact farming, right? If you don't have an electric diesel. Allegedly, Tesla's coming up with one. But if it takes you about 30 minutes to an hour to charge your Tesla, I know I got one. Imagine what it's going to take to charge a semi. So the reality is, look, the assembly line right now and the workers, I hate to tell you, but they're going to be obsolete. And I think they knew that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're saying, let's get everything we can now. Let's go for the 40-something% raise, because everybody wants their car. People are buying cars like crazy. Well, they're using stimulus money to buy stimulus subsidized cars, all that government money, but we just hit $33 trillion in debt. And very shortly, that's going to come collapsing down on all of us. And you're not going to have those subsidies anymore. And you're going to have an artificially overvalued priced economy that will not be able to sustain itself.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker of the Autry Show.
Yes, you may be recognized.
So here's the other reality. If the union really cared about the workers, they would start instituting some type of transitional employment, saying, okay, look, we can read the writing on the wall. We need to start limiting our workforce and transitioning them into something else. And it can be in the auto if they really cared.
But the thing is, those kind of transitions, you can't do them overnight. It's too devastating. It's too destructive. When we went from the horse and buggy to the car, it was a gradual thing. You had a whole economy based on horses, carriage manufacturers, harness salesmen, blacksmiths, the food supply to feed the horses. And they did it gradually. And that's why you see these pictures of cities where they have the horse and buggy going down the middle of the road, and here comes a car coming along. That's the way you transition a major economic component that is the heart and soul when you transition from one to the other. They're trying to do this way too fast. It's destructive. And a classic example. I mean, we see what happens when you try to implement the new Green Deal as is. When you buy all the hype and you just go there, Germany implemented not over 100%, what they say is 100%, totally the new Green Deal, and still only met 5% of their pollution goals and destroyed their economy. They're now just begging for oil. They're going back to Russia. It just doesn't work. A fossil fueled economy is going to beat a new Green Deal based economy to death. And, I don't think, Guillermo, it's as much about, I don't think the cars are going to go away. What they want with the electric vehicle is they have with the electric vehicle in mass, whether it be mass transit or individual cars, whatever, they have control. They can shut down the grid at any time.
Are you getting Alex Jones on us?
You can shut down the grid. I don't know. I don't listen to Alex Jones. But you can shut down the grid. I think it's just common sense. You can shut that grid down. It is hard to shut down all the service stations that are pumping gas all over the country.
They're going to shut down my Ford.
You can't do that. It's logistically impossible, but it's not logistically impossible to do this. And what I'm fearful of, and nobody's talking about this, is when those satellites up there that are keeping the grid going are so vulnerable. I mean, in terms of warfare, I mean, China, Russia, United States launching weaponry up there. First thing during a war, they're going to start knocking out satellites. And then you take the factor of these sun flares that come up. All you have to have is some kind of not even major cosmic incident happen up there in the atmosphere. It can knock out all of those satellites, and then you have no way to power your car. So, I mean, there's not a lot good, and yet you're telling people that if you all do this, if we destroy the economy, we don't let Africa develop, so we just let poor children continue to starve to death in Africa by the millions because you won't let them develop, that you're going to be able to drop the degrees, 2 degrees Celsius, whatever it is, your target, whoever came up with that. How do you know that? Has anybody even tested these folks?
It's science.
That's what's that this is going to happen.
Fauci has tested it.
I mean, you've got Rob Bonta, our Attorney General, suing the oil companies for climate change. I mean, is he going to sue God as a co-conspirator? I mean, God causes some of it. I mean, he's
created the situation.
Exactly. Okay, God's a co-conspirator with Exxon. So you got to send him the papers, subpoena him.
Fulton County's going to get a mugshot of God next.
Just indicted God.
Horrible.
Well, to think that you have that much control over climate. How arrogant of the human species to get to the point where you think you're the number one total cause of climate change, that it's you and you alone, yet they find some of the hottest years on record because they look at the rings in the tree were over 1,400 years ago that were hotter than it is now. Well, I don't think 1,400 years ago they were making Nikes out of a pollution spouting plant in China. Why was it hot back then?
The dinosaurs weren't driving Teslas yet.
And you can get canceled. I'm a dumb Cro-Magnon Jethro Bodine wannabe for saying that. Or I'm an Alec Jones wanting to say that. Is that not, I'm going to look you right in the eye, folks. Is that not a legitimate question if you believe at all in critical thinking? Where's critical thinking? People, well, what is critical? Well, let me tell you what critical thinking is. Real quick definition. There's any other definition you want to come up with, but it both say the same thing. It's an analytical process where evidence is used to take on useful information and determine beliefs. Evidence-based. You need evidence to have critical thinking. So when somebody says, last year, white cops killed 2,000 young black people in cold blood. Critical thinking, if you critically think at that statement, you would ask, where is your evidence of that? Do you have police reports? Do you have neighborhood reports? Do we have bodies in the morgue? How are you coming to that conclusion? Well, I don't have any evidence. Your retort is, well, I think just my gut feeling, that's a pretty high number. Why don't we work together and find out exactly how many? You go check the police departments. I'll check the morgues. Let's see if we can come up with some evidence of that. And there's not enough evidence that all of this stuff that's happening, and I'll be the first one to say, yeah, the stuff that happened in Hawaii, never saw it in my lifetime. What just happened in Libya, that type of flood. But is it totally a result of man-made pollutions? And by the way, is there other ways to control the pollution of fossil fuels? Can you make clean burning diesel? I know for a fact you can. How clean can you get it? Is there such thing as clean burning coal? Yes, there is. How clean can you get it? Have we asked that question? Have we focused on that with our new Green Deal?
Are there any benefits of climate change? Because we're always talking about the bad.
Well, that's my...
There's got to be benefits.
Oh, little question. Oh, gosh, you're a great student. That's a great question. See, that's critical thinking.
I'm learning.
No, but seriously, that is a brilliant statement. But let me tell you, the left does not, the woke crowd, the people that are running Biden, they don't want you to use critical thinking. The only time they want you to use critical thinking is to find out how many reasons why the January 6 people that broke in should go to jail for the rest of their life. And the critical thinking has to begin and end with they are completely insurrectionists that hate America, need to be jailed. Don't go outside of that parameter with your critical thinking. Because the problem is when you critically think about conservatism, what conservatism really is, I don't care who you are, if you critically think on the principles of conservatism, of not spending more than you take in, having secure borders, having safe neighborhoods, that life deserves to be protected, especially the most vulnerable state. When you critically think about it, you're going to find a lot of, not perfectly, but a lot of things in the conservative realm that you're going to like in critical thinking. You look at the woke agenda, you're going to be hard-pressed to find much that you do like. If you consider individual liberties important, if you consider safe neighborhoods important, if you consider that you don't want to live under a dictatorship, you want to live in a democracy. So that's why they want to get rid of critical thinking.
Yeah. Let me be very. Yeah. I want to make 2 points. I appreciate the woke movement. I do, because here in this country, we should have an adversarial type of system. And this is how we get to your critical thinking. You need people to argue both sides. So I do appreciate the woke movement. I don't agree with a lot of what they...
Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
What about it do you appreciate?
the fact that
because we're going to get us some
sure,
evidence. Give me a point, and I'm not trying to play catch you.
They have a view of America that they dislike.
What do they dislike?
Well, they I mean,
because we're drilling down into it.
Yeah, you can go all the way back. They dislike how our country was founded. They have a problem with the founding fathers.
But be more specific. What is the problem? What is the problem they have?
They have a problem with
say it. White people.
They think they're racist.
Just
yes.
say it.
Yeah.
White people.
Yeah. Racist. Yeah.
Okay.
Racism. So
I mean, that's obvious. They will say that we have a problem. We don't think white people are good people. They are born oppressors. Well, that's the woke movement.
I don't think they've.
And I understand it as being absolutely insane. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think it has no place in society. But go ahead. This is your time.
I appreciate it in the sense that you have a group of individuals that really they want fundamental change to this country. They believe in a movement, and they're going to go to bat for that movement. And I want to say that because you have a lot of people on the other side, the conservative. They believe in something. They don't fight for it. We don't. You know what I mean? We're not organized like the woke movement is, and which we're seeing the results of it in 2020. But I do appreciate them. And without them, we wouldn't have this adversarial system. So I appreciate it in the sense of, as much as I don't agree with it, but in this country, we welcome ideas, irrespective of how crazy they are. I don't like...
respect too...
but you see where I'm coming.
Well, I think there has to be lines drawn.
I'm not saying
I understand what you're trying to say, and I agree with it in theory. I just think we have never seen anything in this country like the woke movement. I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm not talking about the left. I'm not talking about the far left. I'm not even talking about Castro far left. If you went up to Castro and said, we don't believe in a mom and a dad, I mean, tell you, Castro would line you up and shoot you.
Yeah.
You didn't want that in Cuba. Yeah, Che Guevara, I just have a disdain for communism. I understand how people can be drawn to it, but I would say this. What is there to appreciate about cancer?
Nothing.
Yeah. Well,
nothing.
The woke movement, when you label a child in a crib, an innocent little child, because they happen to be white, as an oppressor, and nothing that little child can do and nothing that parent can do to take that oppressor gene out of that white person. They're innately born evil. Alan, that's listen, do some critical thinking. Go read these books by Kendi. I have. Go read these books that are out there. I have. And I did it with an open mind. Where in America does this fit in an open, free society? And I'm looking at it going, many of these principles, not only do they not fit, if you don't form a consensus to never let them in to the thought process, you are doing this country and the world a huge disservice, because it is, once you demonize someone and say they're born evil, then you can do anything to them. And if it's old white Christians like me today, believe me, someday they'll come for you. If you happen to be a young atheist liberal, they'll find a way to come after you when you cross them. And be happy to determine and discuss who them are.
Yeah. But so I know we got to take a quick commercial break, but I wanted to kind of just say this overall. Unfortunately, I think in today's day and age, we're looking for someone to blame, right? So someone has to take responsibility. And you see this in America. Yeah, it's your fault. Climate change, it's the big oil, big corporations' fault. It's your fault. January 6th, it's all conservatives' fault. I think we've now entered into a time period where America wants to find blame. There has to be someone at fault. And we're not in it together. Like, wait a minute, it might be all of our fault. It might be all of our responsibility. So,
but in that way, what is that responsibility? I think the responsibility is to stand up against the woke movement, regardless of what it costs you. It's cost me jobs. I may never work again because of being behind this mic right here, because it goes everywhere. I'm ready for my demise. Not that I had a great career left with the time I have left on this earth, but I did a little Tulsa King, did a little 911 Lone Star. This and I've got a few other projects going. But they dragged up this stuff that I'm talking about now, because you can't confuse tolerance with advocacy, and that happens too much. I will tolerate woke ideology that says we want to destroy the traditional family unit. We want to kick God out of everywhere. We want to make sure that criminals get treated like law-abiding citizens and law-abiding citizens like criminals. But I can never, even remotely in my rhetoric or my actions or my behavior, even get within smelling distance of advocacy for that type of craziness and insanity. Why? Because it's evil. Hey, listen, I'm talking about godly things. If godly things don't matter to you, I got nothing for you. Because that's what you're going to come out of me. I got nothing here of value for you if you don't believe in God. But, all right. Is that the music they used to do on the Academy Awards? When you went too long, the music would start, and they would kind of
just get louder and louder and louder.
All right, that's my cue. We'll be right back.
A fiery ring.
Running ring.
All right. We had to do that because
fell in this. No, I know we were going to. We got to sell some stuff, man. You got.
Well, no, yeah, I do.
We got to get Valley Fitness back on here, man.
Chris
is going to get.
Are you playing the Valley
coming
Fitness?
Back on, Chris?
Okay, you are. Okay. He's got to upload
New Valley Fitness, best place to work out. Fort Washington Fitness and Valley Fitness all over Fresno.
They want to pump you up,
along with Sinlon. And along with the solar company you got.
Yeah, Planet Solar, great. And then we have
we can't be bought.
We have
we can be rented, leased
for a while, leased to own, maybe even leased to own. We're okay with that. The pot farm.
Pot farm. Yes.
The pot farm. Yeah.
I'm glad that disclaimer you put on that on the ads too. We're knocking out my devil's weed. We're talking about
pot farm backyard. Right across.
This sounds like fun stuff, though, they have there.
Have you? You should. It looks.
I'm going to go over there.
Pot farm backyard.
See your commercials working. I'm going to go over there.
You should.
It's Renew pot farm. Renew.
Pot farm backyard. They're right across from Fresno Fresno Distributing. Okay. And let me tell you this: if you go to their website, that stuff looks like it's their statues and
I love those
and the
places.
pots. They look like they're for French villas.
Ooh,
it's just beautiful.
You know, Autry is French.
Who? Is it really?
Autry. You ever notice you can say anything in French?
Yeah.
And you can't say anything in German that sounds good. You could say, I love you, have a nice day in German. And it just...
Same thing with Russian.
But French, you could say, I hate you, kiss my butt. And it'd come out,
That's so true. That's so true. That's very true. That's so true.
You can say anything in French. And it sounds good.
That's true.
But that goes back. You're making judgments based on intonations of a language. Just like I said, you make decisions on that guy you saw at jury duty. You just make those determinations.
Started about jury duty. Yeah. I'm still reeling from jury duty.
Well, you were honest.
Oh wait, I was very honest. Maybe too honest.
About making well, no, but
they're never going to call me again.
But that jury selection thing in the Trump deal is just going to be key. They got to hope 1 out of 12 they get a guy who's I hate to say this, that's a really good liar that can look into old Jack Smith and Chunkin's eyes, or Chunkin won't, the judge won't pick the jury, but who's the other one, the DA that's just frothing? Boy, they are like rabid dogs.
I just know.
I mean, they ran on getting
Fannie Willis.
Fannie.
Yeah.
Take a load off Fannie.
All right,
do you see where she's trying to get people to call her Fannie? Fannie's about as Southern. She's from the South. It's Fannie Willis. That's what Mama named her.
I love that.
Fannie.
Fannie.
Back then, it was a comedian named Fannie Flagg, or she was a singer or something back then. But Fannie was But no, it's you become district attorney. It's Fannie or Fannie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you think I'm funny? Huh? You think I'm a funny girl? You think I'm a funny DA? Huh? I got 100 years behind the bars for you, Orange Man. Yeah. Ready? Give me some theme music. Give me some. Huh. Good God, y'all.
This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by
Sinlon,
the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
And put the load right on me.
I've never heard the song.
Trump is not saying put the load on me.
Who sings this?
It's the band, right?
That's the name?
The band
is the name.
I remember there was one guy, Robbie Robertson's in there. He's a great guitarist. Hey, okay, we just got a few minutes left, but it's a good discussion on this woke stuff. I mean, what's acceptable in a free country and how much you want to let them in. It's just, what, you give me a note there?
I have an announcement.
Well, I can't see it. What is it? I'm
So,
fired?
No. We reached a deal with your
just
union.
like you.
we reached the deal with the union. We're going to promise you 2 waters a show, double ply, and we're going to refer to you as sir.
How about the pension plan?
Yeah.
Free Taco Bell.
Renegotiating that right now.
And medical.
Non-negotiable.
I get a free COVID shot every year.
I think we have some Tylenol.
I get 6 COVID boosters.
Yeah, the most up-to-date boosters.
And the federal government's paying you for me to be a test dummy.
Yes.
I know how you work.
Maybe. Just sign it. Don't worry about it. Just sign on the dotted line. Today at about 5 o'clock, well, 5:05 to be specific, I will be broadcasting my show outside of the Clovis Unified School District.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dennis McCourt's going to be on. He has been at the forefront.
I bet it's the parental notification.
It's the parental notification.
Okay, go
yes,
Dennis.
sir. So he's been leading that along with a lot of other great Clovis individuals. Of course, parental notification of things that the school might want to do with your child. And full disclosure, I told Dennis, we're gonna listen from him, hear from him, and I also want to hear from the other side because that's what we do. Where I want to make sure that we're getting both views. So today at 5, we'll be doing that. Yeah.
I mean, you're fair and balanced. You listen to the right and the extreme right.
5 p.m. Almost here.
Almost kidding. Just kidding.
What'd you say?
I said you're fair and balanced. You listen to the right and the extreme right.
The extreme right, yeah.
And then the ultra MAGA.
Yeah.
No, that's not true, folks. I wish you get to know this guy like I have. He's a fine American, fine human being, wonderful husband, wonderful son, great friend.
Oh, keep going.
Oh man, I got
keep going. Keep going.
I thank God every day He brought you into my life here and doing this thing that I just having so much fun with. I tell you, I've had a lot of blessings in life, lived a lot of dreams, but none as fun as doing this whenever I can for an hour. Hey,
the pleasure is all ours.
I want to get your feelings on and your thoughts on this $6 billion, I believe it is, going to Iran that Biden has released in exchange for the hostages. I understand if it was my family member there, I would probably say, hey, whatever it takes. I get that. But in the overall good, in the utilitarian concept, what's for the greater good, does it not embolden more hostage taking?
Without a doubt. Now,
I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a hypocrite. I'd say I don't believe it's good. I believe more people are going to be put in danger who may not get out alive. It's just, it's what they do in Mexico. Hostage taking has become a big part of the economy for the cartel.
General rule: don't go to Iran. Certain parts of Mexico. Stay away from Syria. That might be a good idea. Definitely don't book a trip on Expedia to North Korea. Can I continue? Russia right now, you might not want to go to Moscow. Just saying. Not even Ukraine. Allegedly, the $6 billion was something that was owed to them. So, from a legitimate,
Well, if you believe that a sanction, you're actually sanctioning a country, because of their support of Russia, then you say, but under certain conditions, it's not a sanction. We will give in.
Yeah.
Well, is it really a sanction?
Here's the reality of where we're at, Alan. I think Joe Biden and the administration, they need a win. Okay. This was a $6 billion payoff for one win because you even struggle like, oh man, $6 billion, but man, we got hostages. So it's not a bad, they're desperately needing a win on the national stage that they probably would have even given more. I guarantee you they're probably getting more than just the $6 billion. They need a win. They don't care what it is. They don't care who the money goes to, and they know where that money's going to go.
Yeah, well, that brings up the next point. The thing that irritates me more than anything about this, and by the way, the families of these hostages that are coming home, I don't mean any. I'm glad they're home. I'm thankful they're home. It is a tough decision. And again, I'm going to be totally open with my hypocrisy. If it was I don't have any brothers and sisters, but if I did have a brother and sister that was there, whatever it takes, get my family member out, my son, my daughter, what have you. My guess, I would be there. But stepping back and critically thinking about this, will it encourage more hostage taking? I think it's an emphatic yes. If you take the politics out of it and just use common sense, that's what these countries do. But the most irritating thing about it to me, and I wish the folks on the left would wake up, your leadership on the left, the Biden administration, and in particular the Obama administration, you can go back further, not as much the Clinton administration, but the Obama administration, the Biden administration, they have such a low estimation of your intelligence. I'm not talking about the MAGA or the conservatives, Republicans. I'm talking about you that support Biden. They come right out and say they think that MAGA people or Republicans are all idiots and are just uneducated Walmart smelly shoppers, all of that. They'll come out and say that. But they feel even more reprehensible in their thinking towards you, the supporters. They really think you're really, really dumb because they know what they're doing is totally, completely wrong. It's not doing what they say it's going to do. When they make you keep your kid in zip code prison in these blue cities and you can't have a voucher to take your kid to a school that's succeeding, you got to stay in that failing school where you have the worst teachers congregating there because you can't fire them because of tenure, because they don't want you to critically think and ask why your kid is there and can't get out. They just keep you, they will, if you critically thought and said, hey, here's more food stamps, more welfare, and you can live the American dream on that. You don't need to progress above that. No, you can't. You're not going to be able to take a vacation that you want. Send your kids to school on government assistance, and that day is coming where that's going to come crumbling down everybody's ears, including Social Security, unless they don't get spending under control. But in this situation with the Iran, let me tie this to this Iran drone thing. $6 billion. And you got Anthony Blinken, who cannot keep his lying mouth shut, telling the American people and getting his supporters to parrot what he said at the press conference the day before yesterday, and said, listen, this $6 billion is going to be spent for humanitarian reasons. We've got the promise from the Iranian mullahs. It's going to be spent to help their people that are starving there. And not a penny is going to go to a military endeavor. Okay? So number one, and then I want to get your take on this. Then that's insulting enough. Okay? But then they hit it with the second insult, which is even worse. He said, we're going to monitor it. Okay, I'm going to let you loose on here. It's like, we're going to monitor that $6 billion and make sure they do exactly what they said they were going to do with that $6 billion and help the poor people in Iran and feed the poor people there and do educational training so they don't arrest a woman for not wearing her headgear. Okay? We're going to monitor that to make sure. Folks, these are the same people that don't know where $75 billion worth of stimulus checks went in the United States. They've unleashed all of their communication gathering and information gathering expertise and still can't find out where the money went. This is the same government that doesn't know where the money went in the Ukraine war. And it's an ally. Ukraine's an ally. They don't know. You ask them, where's all this money going? Where's it spent? But we're going to monitor every penny in Iran and report back to you. And if it goes to a drone, which it is certainly going to go to, about 2 out of that $6 billion is going to go to more drones to go where? To Russia. To do what? To kill Ukrainians and innocent women and children. We just bought about $2 billion worth of drones for Russia. It's what we just did. You go. Tell me where I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. This administration can't even monitor what's going on at the border. This administration, they can't even. It's a joke.
You'll laugh through the tears.
It is. It's a joke, but they can definitely monitor what's going on with Trump. So they have the ability to monitor what they want to monitor. They couldn't even monitor United States territory to see a big old giant balloon. We had to have a reporter out in the middle of nowhere by a barn on a horse
And Blinken sits up there. I just want to go through the monitor when I'm watching him and just slap him. Not hurting folks. I'm not being a violent act on Blinken, so don't social media. Give me a break. Just like you would, to get their attention. Just slap them. Go. Why do you have to sit there and bald-faced lie to people?
Because they think we're dumb. They think we're dumb now.
And the American people need rest assured that we will hold the Iranian government accountable for every dollar and make sure it goes to humanitarian uses.
Yeah.
We will be monitoring it. And you're sitting there going, man, he knows he's lying. But on top of that, again, I reiterate, he thinks you're
stupid.
One brain cell short of being Curly Howard of the Three Stooges. They think you're going to listen to him and go, oh, hey, Mo, they got to monitor every dollar. Yeah. Woo! That's how, I'm telling you, that's what they secretly think of you. When Gavin Newsom goes to the French Laundry after he tells you to stay inside, you can't go be with your family. You can't have a dinner with your family. You can't go visit your dying grandfather in the hospital. But he goes and hangs out with 25 of his friends, elbow to elbow with no masks. They think you're idiots. And you know what's coming? They're going to try to lock us down again. I don't know if we're going to stay on Facebook after this.
Probably not. We got other places.
But it's coming. You hear them coming. Oh, it's elections coming up. They don't want people standing in line. They want those drop boxes. They want all of that ballot harvesting again. And what better way to justify it than don't come out of your home. We'll come there with a triple M1 mask or whatever it is, and we'll buy one for you too. Just sign right here.
What's the terminology? The triple demic? They're calling this winter. We're gonna have like a triple demic. Tridemic. I don't know. These.
Maybe I'm just too sensitive. I say people see it. They got to see it. Maybe they don't.
They don't care, Alan. They don't.
But that's one thing. I was raised. I wasn't raised black. I wasn't raised. I was, and know that the black experience is like. I'm not saying that, but I do know Poe. I do know poor. There were people poorer than us growing up. But my dad topped out at $2.25 an hour, driving a tractor. Mom cleaned houses, making ends meet. I mean, we won't get on that sob story. But I remember the feeling of being looked down upon, less than, being talked to like I didn't quite measure up, and neither did my family. And how they'd look at my mother, dressed in the best she could at JCPenney. She kept that house clean, man. Kept our clothes clean. But it was what it was. And when I see people talking down to other people and lying to people and treating them like they're less than, I can't understand why the African American community 90% vote Democrat. I mean, I just can't. You're talking about a party that wants to keep you uneducated, unemployed, and unarmed. All the three things that they did with slaves. That's what this Democratic wants you to do. They don't want you employed. Well, no, they don't. They want you to keep taking government assistance so they can count on your vote and get you feeling so insecure about yourself that you don't think you could ever make it out of that neighborhood. They want to kill any dreams. They don't want another Thomas Sowell or a Ben Carson coming out of those neighborhoods. No, they don't want that. They don't want another black conservative coming out there and saying, hey, you can make it out of here. So you're not employed. You've been given some money, sustenance, and that's it. They want to keep you uneducated. They put you in failing schools because the more educated you get, the more questions you'll ask and more you'll embrace critical thinking, which we talked about today. And you'll see what's been happening to you, see who your friends really are. And then they want to keep you unarmed. They want to let the gang members in Chicago, gang members get all the guns they want. Or try to wear a gun, open carry down Rush Street just to protect yourself as a private citizen. Never had a crime committed. You've never committed a crime in your life. You've been a law-abiding citizen. You just want to protect your kids walking down in this neighborhood, and you have that sidearm as a deterrent, because it is a deterrent, and see who gets hauled in, you or that gang member, who the police know has guns. They know who owns these guns. And how can you be part of that party that wants to keep you unemployed, uneducated, and unarmed? Just like slavery. That's what they did to the slaves. I don't get it. Guillermo, hey, come in there. We just got a minute left. And just like sheep, every year they keep voting, mostly white liberals. I mean, it's just, and then you look at all of the fortunes that were made out of grievance peddling, of basically saying, you stay right where we are. What can you help us get? No, and just blame. It's like, we got to have somebody to hate. I mean, who's a racist who reduced unemployment to the lowest level for African Americans in history? It was Donald Trump, but he's a racist. Who gave more money to historically black colleges than any other president ever? Donald Trump. It makes him a racist. I mean, you can go down the line and it just doesn't add up. But these folks buy the blinking lies that they're going to monitor everything in Iran, that the kids are at the best school in the world. They know they're at the
They're
worst.
going to put Kamala in charge of monitoring it, so you know it'll get done.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about education in the world. Oh, don't give me started. Guillermo, thank you, buddy.
Anytime.
Thank you for being here. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Just remember, do your best. Let God do the rest. And good Lord willing, we're going to be here tomorrow on Thursday. Bye-bye now. Until